the first rule of our toolbox. This tool is very simple to use. Just make a list of the rules of the product or service that you want to innovate and think about ways to break those rules. For instance, take a bag of tea. What are its rules? What are its functional features? What does it look like? What do you use it with? Consider what these rules are. The characteristic of a tea bag might be that they are square or rectangles. It can be used once, then you throw it away. It must have water. It's porous. It's white colored. It has a string handle. And of course, it contains tea. Okay, these rules may seem super obvious, but it's okay. It doesn't matter how obvious the rules are in a rule-breaking exercise. What would it look like if you had to reverse or break those rules? Let's check again those rules that we just said. A tea bag is a square or rectangle. Well, it could be round, donut-shaped. It may even look like a little ball. And then, something triggers. Okay, it would be awesome if for some particular occasion we could have a special shaped tea bag. A little bear perhaps? Maybe a dolphin. It would be very interesting if the tea bag shape changes when dropped into hot water. What about a tea bag of multiple sizes? So, if you're making a tea for a large pot, you could use a large tea bag. For example, check this, a tea bag with little section which you can tear off. If you're going to make a small cup of tea, you can just tear off a small section and put it in your teacup. What about the fact that tea bags are generally white? It could be green, red, blue, yellow, and then something starts to come up. What about if we put all these colors together? A rainbow-colored tea bag, or maybe even a tea bag that changes its color at the perfect temperature. Perhaps a price revealed when the tea bag is at a certain condition. You can even make designer-colored tea. Being porous, what about it? You can have a capsule tea, a little capsule that you drop into your cup so you don't need the tea bag at all. Or granulated tea, or a disposable tea-lined cup, so a cup that comes with a tea line around it. It must have water. You could have a chewable tea, a tea chewing gum, or a tea that works with other drinks like fizzy water, maybe even something that you can put your sandwich for tea flavor. You can have a little pill that pops straight in your mouth and get that buzz of tea. I mean, this might all sound silly, but that's fine. In a creativity section, you have to be prepared to be silly. Single use? How can we break this rule? You can have a tea bag that releases the amount that you need, and you can reuse it. Or what about the rule around the fact that a tea bag contains tea? Like coffee. You can have 3-in-1 tea, which got sugar, creamer, and tea. Or maybe something that contains vitamin. What about the string handle rule? You could just throw the tea bag into the cup. What about a tea bag that pops up when it's nicely infused? Or a tea bag that acts as a handle itself, so you have a tea bag that hooks on the side of your cup. You could go on and on each of these rules and figure out new creative ways to break or reverse them. You get the point. It might be a little bit difficult at the beginning, but you can get a lot of great silly ideas when it gets going. Just have fun and be ready to see some silly thoughts. Keep the ideas flowing. Check this out. The night safari in Singapore. If you were someone who works for a safari park and you went to your boss and said, "Hey, what about night safari?" That might sound like a really silly idea. The first reaction might be, well, people are not going to be able to see the animals at night. Safaris are for daytime. But when you think about it, people like to come out at night, and most of the attractions are in the daytime. If you were able to make it work, it could open up a whole range of other opportunities. It could create other value. So that's what they did in Singapore. They designed that safari park so that the visitors can get really close to the animals. They use moonlighting, and of course you can see nocturnal animals. And then they added other services, like nighttime dining. And as I said, people like coming out in the nighttime when it's cooler. Opened in 1994, Night Safari is the world's first safari park for nocturnal animals. Today, the award-winning park welcomes more than 1 million visitors a year. They come from all over the world to enjoy the unique experience of seeing over 2,000 animals in the nighttime habitats. So you get the point. List out the rules around the product or service that you want to innovate and just break them. See you next time.